Hi, Namaste. A very good evening, everyone. So, how are you guys doing? So, options. Good, very good, awesome. How are you guys doing today? Today's revision class will focus on few select topics from oral histology. I hope you guys are all ready with answers to previous sessions, case-based question, right? So, how are you guys doing, by the way? You're talking about revision. Remember, you should revise a minimum of 99 times. Only then you'll be able to crack the entrance. It can be anything. If you don't revise it 99 times, it's not going to work out. The equation is very simple because the logic here seems to be that the more the number of times we revise or mug up something, the more chances for us to crack the entrance. How amazing this equation is. If that were so, I mean, right from kindergarten, we could supply all our materials to all first year, second year, third year, 3-year-old babies, and then ask them to revise as many times as possible because the equation here is very simple. Revise as many times as possible, preferably 99 times if you wish to crack anything. For that matter, including civils, right from womb, if we start this coaching, more the number of revisions, the more the chances to crack the entrance. That would be amazing. In fact, I think it's working out for some of you. So we'll definitely implement this idea. Isn't that amazing? Okay, it's good to hear that you're all awesome. Keep these spirits high. Keep your spirits high and keep this enthusiasm and momentum going. Few more days. All you need to do is just maintain this momentum and consistency. I'm sure you will. So we'll start with today's presentation. As I said, we'll start with a case-based question. But before that, I would like to share something with you. We have so many challenges in life. We're almost always talking about challenges, difficulties, problems because we are worried about some of the feelings here. We're worried that we might have to cry. We're worried that we might get angry. We're worried that we have to worry. So it's those negative feelings which make us always think about problems, solutions. Rather than solutions, we're more inclined towards problems. But if you carefully observe this particular clip art, various emotions or various feelings, various expressions. By the way, I'm not going to ask you about models of facial expressions now, but you can see various expressions on face. These are largely because of external stimuli. I mean, if someone says something good about ourselves, we feel happy, we feel elated. Someone gives us something, gift, we feel elated. If someone scolds us, so when there is positive, also there will be negative. It's like we want only positive in nature, nothing negative. It doesn't work out that way. So as long as we are relying on external stimuli for whatever it is, we have to face these consequences, not just happiness, but any kind of a reaction. That's quite obvious. But if we depend internally, if we tune ourselves internally, which means irrespective of what others say, irrespective of external stimuli, if we learn to see things as they are, nothing can really affect our happiness or joy. Not just happiness, but I'm talking about joy. Joy of life, a joy of experience as such. So it's all about turning inwards and then seeking the joy within ourselves without the influence of these external stimuli. That would be the ultimate goal, in my opinion. So it's okay to have various kinds of challenges, but if we can tune ourselves in such a way that our joy is purely our making, wouldn't that be amazing? So I would like to leave that question to you, and it's up to you to decide. So, case-based question. So we were discussing about, yes, a negligent cricket player coming to your clinic after getting hit in the face during a match. The entire crown of a tooth has been knocked off and pulp chamber is open. The incisal view of tooth shows triangular shaped pulp chamber. Which tooth do you think got knocked out? Maxillary central incisor, mandibular central incisor, maxillary lateral, mandibular lateral. So which one do you think is more appropriate answer? I mean, why not 100? No, 99 is a fancy number. Isn't that obvious? 100 is not so good. 99, you have 9 in it, which adds luck factor. So 99 is a fancy number. Revise 99 times, mug up things 99 times, it solves all the problems. That's how, unfortunately, the current scenario seems to be in most of the cases. Okay, I'm kidding, right? Okay, right. Yeah. And also let me address one more comment. Gargi says, I mailed the screenshot of payment of practice test in the evening, but I've got no reply. Sir, when will I get the paper? Gargi, we try our level best to reply all mails as soon as possible. So far, I have personally addressed and replied over 28,000 mails, and every day we'll be dealing with hundreds of mails. I'm not using these as reasons as to not to reply to your mail, but as per our standard reply policy, we usually reply within 24 to 48 hours as mentioned in our website. However, that's only a standard reply policy which we use in worst case scenario, but most of the mails we try to reply as soon as possible. So all of you who are live now, you might have taken up tests, you might be our registered students, or you might be practicing or following our YouTube channel. You might have mailed me once or twice in your lifetime. So I reply to all mails. So whenever you drop a mail, you'll get a reply. You need not worry about anything. Okay, so this is just a clarification, not just to Gargi, but to everyone else. Okay, I know the time is approaching. You're all very concerned. I really understand, but please give me at least 24 hours, at least, to address all your mails. Okay, I hope this clarification is suffice. So let's jump into our today's discussion. So fancy number 101, that's up to you. That's up to you to decide and guide the next generation accordingly. Come on. Right. So what do you think is more appropriate answer? Option A, fantastic. So you might have done this sectioning, so there is no point again in dwelling into that. So I'm sure you're all masters in the same. How many of you have done sectioning during your UG? I'm sure all of you might have done. Okay, so sectioning will definitely enable us to understand the cross-sectional morphologies, especially at different levels. So the base of triangle, obviously the answer is maxillary central incisor, where the base of the triangle is towards the facial aspect, as you can see in this illustration, right, top left, and the apex will be lingual. And if it is not triangular, then it will be oval. So there can be variations, but mostly triangular with base towards the facial, and then the apex towards the lingual aspect. So in these particular illustrations, there are cervical cross sections of anterior teeth below, showing the relationship of crown outline. So the outermost line is a crown outline. The second line seems to be the outline of pulp chamber, and the innermost one is the outline of the root canal. Okay. So just for our understanding. So as you move on to laterals and canines, they're usually oval in shape. Isn't that obvious? So keep these cross sections in mind, and I'm sure you can answer any question related to the same. So same is the case with posterior teeth. We have discussed this in our e-classes and also on YouTube. We can check out previous videos for the same. So negligent cricket player, so we have added a context, added some masala, and then the incisal view of tooth. So the question here is, incisal view of tooth, triangular shaped pulp chamber, which tooth it is. That's it. So as I keep on reminding, case-based questions are regular questions with additional hints to help you answer the particular question, isn't it? Fantastic. Now let's move on to our topic proper, subject proper, quick revision class, or 23rd quick revision class from oral histology. So first question, so we have different types of CEJ. So the basic type of CEJ, which is most commonly noticed, is enamel overlapping cementum. Cementum. Okay, there is nothing like ementum. That's a spelling mistake. Please excuse me. So cementum and enamel do not meet. Cementum overlapping enamel. Cementum meets enamel edge to edge. So which one do you think is more appropriate answer? The most common type of CEJ. There are different types of CEJ. We'll look into that illustration now, but which is the most common type? Around 60%. I've given you a hint. So there are basically three types of CEJ. Let me review some information. Cementum meeting enamel edge to edge in 30% of the cases. Cementum overlapping enamel in some X% of cases. Keep answering. And 10% cementum doesn't meet enamel. So 60% of the cases, There is cementum overlapping enamel, overlap type, overlap junction, 60%. So option C, as most of you have chosen, is right answer. So there can be also enamel overlapping cementum as per recent studies. Okay, previously that was the exception, but now latest studies are proving otherwise. So as you can see in this particular illustration, so left and right, so cementum and enamel meeting in sharp line. Carefully observe the whitish one, left illustration. It's a knife edge type of illustration of CEJ. And then right side, you can see cementum overlapping enamel, right? So which is clearly obvious. So learning from images, observing images will enhance our learning methodologies as such. Good. So option C, cementum overlapping enamel, 60% of the cases. I mean, these studies might vary, but largely, right? Majority we find cementum overlapping enamel. Good. Yes. Okay. Now let's move on to the next question. It's a time-taking one. Let's see how many of you are going to answer it. I started a timer. The time starts now. So match the following PDL fiber groups and the function. So you have on one column horizontal group, oblique group, interradicular, alveolar, crest group. On the second column, you have various functions resisting vertical intrusive forces, resisting tilting intrusive extrusive rotational forces, resisting horizontal tipping forces, resisting torque forces. So as the following, it's almost 30 seconds now. Let's see how many of you are going to answer it. Not just fast, but also accurately. So speed and accuracy. Okay. Neha seems to have hit the bull's eye. Very good, Neha. Right. So I'll give you some time. Let's see how much time are you going to take. Good Lakshmi, good Shubhangi, Amruta, Sonali, Anchita, Nisha, Gargi. Very good. Arushi, Rituja, Kanishka, Darsha, Sohini. You all answered in less than 1 minute. Meghana. Very good. Fantastic. Okay, Dharana. Very good. Now let's review some information. So you can take 2 to 3 minutes depending upon the length of the question, but the average time which you get is 45 seconds as we discussed previously. So various principal fiber groups, right? And also we have their origin and insertion and their function. I mean, I wanted to place an illustration representing the same, which we discussed already in today's study club. I'm sure you're aware of the illustration. So keep that in mind simultaneously when you're going through the functions. Cellular crest group resisting tilting, intrusive, extrusive, and rotational forces. Horizontal group resist horizontal and tipping forces. Oblique, most numerous and occupy 2/3. Even this is very important, right? Resist vertical intrusive forces. The apical group resist luxation, prevent tooth tipping, protect delicate lymph blood vessels and nerves traversing the pedial space at group apex. So we can consider this very, very important, all the functions. Interradicular group resists tooth tipping, torque, and luxation. There can be some overlapping of functions. Consider this table very, very important, including the origin and insertion. So option A is right answer. Ankur, very good. Urvi, Seshank, Bilal, Nidhi, Anushri, Manav, subscribes, Shweta, Janitor, Malini, Sita, Nature's Magic, Raghavesh, Sudiksha, Adushmita, Gauri. Yes, BNC are the same. I'm glad you observed, Manav. So that helps you in eliminating or including both options. What do you say the answer is? Shruti? Okay, very good. Fantastic. Option A is the right answer. Now let's move on to the next question. Yeah. So taste buds are found in circumvalent papilla, foliate papilla or papillae, plural, posterior surface of epiglottis, all of the above. So which one do you think is a more appropriate answer? So taste buds, responsible for all the nonsense that's happening thanks to these food outlets. We perceive taste only in mouth, and once it crosses mouth and enters into our rest of the GI, we never perceive taste. So just for sake of taste, experiencing taste in our mouth, and we hardly chew for a few seconds, I reckon, based on my personal experience, and we crave for food. So what is this craving actually for? Just for sake of satisfying taste buds in our oral cavity? Okay. So as you can see, these are some of the illustrations. So yeah, circumvalent papilla representing taste buds. So various papilla can demonstrate taste buds. It's not one group, not just circumvalent. So foliate, posterior surface of epiglottis, taste buds are found numerous, scattered throughout. So taste buds, barrel-shaped intraepithelial organs consisting of outer supporting cells arranged like staves or constructed in the form of a barrel, and inner spindle-shaped cells. And within these spindle-shaped cells are neuroepithelial cells. And taste buds are seen in valid papilla, as you can see in this illustration, folds of foliate papilla, posterior surface of epiglottis, and occasionally in fungiform papilla as well. So as you can see in the left illustration, the circumvalent papilla, we can see some light areas intraepithelial. Those are the taste buds. The circumvalent papilla showing trough and numerous taste buds, light areas. Left illustration, right illustration, higher magnification of the same trough and also epithelium showing epithelium circumvalent papilla showing various taste buds. Okay, so all of the above is right answer. I think some of you have chosen A. Don't worry, even if you're wrong, as long as you're learning, and consider each movement as a learning experience. If at all this question comes in exam, let's assume, I'm not guaranteeing, I shouldn't be doing that. If I'm doing that, I'm fooling you. Let's assume that this question comes in the day of exam. So those who have done a mistake now, do you think you're going to repeat the same on the final day? Of course not, right? So have that perspective and you'll never be worried about answering it wrong. And when you don't know, you have that amazing power and potential to know more and more things. That's absolutely fine, even if you don't know, right? Okay, fantastic. Now let's move on to the next question. Okay, the total volume of all permanent teeth pulp. So memory based, very challenging to remember. Let's see how many of you are going to answer this. Yes, very good, Kanishka. I know you're not going to repeat the same mistake. The total volume of all permanent teeth pulp. So 0.38, cc 0.54, 0.22, 0.72. So which one do you think is more appropriate answer? We'll also review some important relevant information regarding the same. Before I move on to the table, the pulp present in crown, kernel pulp, the one which is present in root, radicular pulp, the shape of pulp therefore resembles shape of tooth as we have seen in the first question. And the total volume of all permanent teeth pulp is 0.38 cc, as all of you rightly mentioned. And the mean volume of single adult human pulp is 0.02 cc. Right? So consider these two values important. Just try to remember the same. And molar pulps are 3 to 4 times larger than incisor because of their large size and average size. And also, I have some additional information regarding apical foramen. The average size of apical foramen of maxillary teeth in adults is 0.4 mm. In mandibular teeth, it is slightly smaller, that is 0.3 mm in diameter, apical foramen. Now, observe this table carefully. Don't worry about remembering all the values, but do make down the following statements or phrases from this particular table. If you observe, let's deal with maxillary teeth first. So cc cubic centimeters. So this table represents the pulp volumes of permanent human teeth from a preliminary investigation of 160 teeth as given in organs. So you can see in case of maxillary teeth, the tooth having larger pulp volume is first molar, maxillary first molar. And in maxillary teeth, the tooth having least pulp volume is maxillary lateral incisor, not central. Do make a note of these 2 points. And then we'll move on to mandibular. The tooth having a large pulp volume among them is obviously mandibular first molar. Do make a note of it. And least, it's not lateral here, it's ulta or reverse, mandibular central incisor. Okay. So among all the teeth combined, the largest pulp volume is associated with maxillary first molar and least is associated with mandibular central incisor. So these are the things which I want you to make a note of. Just 4 or 5 statements deduced from this particular table. Don't worry about remembering all the values. Okay. Yeah, option A is the right answer. Well done. Keep it up. Now, let's move on to the next question. Yes. Which of the following is a derivative of second branchial arch? So pharyngeal arches, you get several standard questions from the same. Let's see how many of you are going to answer it right. Medial pterygoid, Meckel's cartilage, glossopharyngeal nerve, zygomaticus major. So which of the following is a derivative of second branchial or pharyngeal arch? So which one do you think is right answer? Yes. You don't know what ulta means? Ulta means reverse, right? Very good. Muscles of facial expression, isn't it? Fantastic. Now let's review a table representing various pharyngeal arches and derivatives. First, three pharyngeal arches as given in organs. So you can see muscles from first arch or mandibular arch, you have muscles of mastication, rest of the muscles, and second or higher arch, you have muscles of facial expression. And then each pharyngeal arch, we discuss that in terms of muscular component, cartilaginous component, nerve supply, and arterial supply. Consider this table very, very important. And how many arches are there? Total of 6 arches, the fifth disappears. So in terms of number, we say 6, but we have only 5 arches because the fifth one disappears. And from 4 and 6, laryngeal cartilage is developed, right? So we discussed the same in our E-classes and even in our study club. I'm sure you'll prefer that for more information, more clarity. So among the given options, option D is a right answer. Very good. Right? So I hope you're all maintaining your oral health and hygiene. So let's conclude this session. So how is everything else going on? So weekend. So any plans for this weekend? I know it's a very wrong question to ask at a very wrong time. So anyways, let me ask you this question. So any plans for this weekend? So what are you planning for this weekend? It's really tough to answer, right? When you're preparing 24/7. But all I would suggest you is don't overwhelm yourself with loads and loads of content. No, don't overwhelm yourself. Just do it moderately, because it's not that you do something, as I mentioned previously, it's not about 99 times of revision. It's all about confidence building measures. People will talk many things. I was told that you should revise something some X number of times. Nonsensical advices, don't bother. Do anything which enhances your confidence, and do that in an optimal way so that you're respecting your biological clock as well. Sleep on time, okay? And then try to have good nutritious food. And most importantly, try not to think about the day of exam or its consequences. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to do extremely, exceedingly well. Believe in yourself. Just focus on the task at hand. That's very, very important. And no matter what you do, confidence building is the key. So just keep that in mind. And for any further assistance or guidance, you can always get back through mail at proudtobedentist@gmail.com. As I mentioned prior, all your mails will be addressed as soon as possible. Even though we say 24 to 48 hours, we try our level best to answer them as soon as possible. And for the past several days and several weeks, it's been overwhelming for us as well, receiving several mails. And thanks to this practice test, hundreds and hundreds of mails on day-to-day basis. So I'm not complaining. I'm really glad that we are able to connect. And that's what my objective is also. So at least all I'm requesting you is to give me at least 24 hours time, if not 48 hours, at least 24 hours time to address your queries or concerns. Okay, so keep smiling. Enjoy your weekend. I know you'll be angry if I say this. Okay, enjoy your plan. Okay, you can plan enjoying your next weekend, and wish you all the best. Love you all. Good night. Oh, that's wonderful. Ankur and Kanishka, they're already planning for next weekend. Oh, Kanishka is planning revision for this weekend. Oh, that's routine, right? Look at Ankur. Ankur is ahead of all of you. He's planning for the next weekend. That's how an ideal student or ideal aspirant has to be. Okay, okay, guys. Lovely interacting with you. Take care.